Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here.
Paul here, but you got so much stuff going on in front of you. I mean, you're using Horsemeat in a way that it's never was intended to be used. You're using it as like a post amp or something.
Yeah, and it's wonderful for that.
You
Post
like
fuzz
that.
as a boost post fuzz.
Because Tim Pierce likes Mary Cries as a boost pedal.
Yeah.
He was turning the compressor off and turning it up as a boost pedal. And you guys are doing the opposite.
Paul Smith, everyone.
In case you hadn't worked out, Paul Smith has come, which is a bit of a trip for us actually.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, we are in the sort of the wilds of nowhere, and
on the way here, I stopped at Stonehenge. It's right around the corner. I mean, they are out in the middle of you're in the middle of a farmland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. Here we are.
Breathing in.
When we took the wrong road to get to your house. As we went by the barn, I could smell the manure. The waft of the manure in my car. But we were driving an American car, which is Gavin's problem. He brought a Tesla.
Gavin's also here, managing director of PRS Europe, who I have known for 25 years. I worked out today.
Oh, wow.
And by way of introduction, Paul, I want to show you something. I'll do you. We'll do a detail of this for you to see. What year do you think that was? I think it's 99, but it might be 98.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I can tell because in the shot, how many children I had and their age is how gray I was. I was not gray, and when my first son was born, a white shock showed up, and then it slowly moved. Now I'm bald. What were we thinking? Look at the looks on our faces. What were we thinking?
That's a great pick.
I was thinking,
really great.
I can't believe I get to do this for a job, and I'm in the USA meeting Paul Reed Smith. I think that's what I was thinking.
I think we could burn this with some gasoline out in the parking lot.
No. You know what's really scary? I knew exactly where it was 25 years later.
Wow.
There you go. So
amazing.
I don't have a photographic memory for that, but I do for sounds.
Yeah.
I do for tones. And you look like Tim Pierce. Tim has, have you been to his studio?
No.
He's got literally a cockpit, like running an airplane. And this looks like in front of him.
Okay.
He's got two studio monitors, and he's got this cockpit and all this gear behind him. And it's the same thing. Right. You should send a picture of this to Tim, because you're like, Paul says, I'm in the same environment as you, except we're in, you kind of draw a line to
we're obviously we're fans of Tim.
Big fans of Tim.
And that setup that he's got is just wonderful.
I call it the cockpit.
Yeah, it's great.
Does he call it the cockpit?
He will now. If he doesn't, he will now. Welcome to Tim Pierce's cockpit.
Well, actually, he puts the producer, when he was doing records, in the chair, and then he would have all these things to make sure that the producer got what they wanted for the track. Right. He's played on thousands of records.
It's amazing.
When we went into the pedal business, when he stepped on Horsemeat at one of our experiences, Jerry Leonard, who was the MD for David Bowie, had the band playing Let's Dance, and he hit the button as a preamp for the PRS amp that he was playing through. And when he hit the button, me, Bernie Marsden, Simon McBride, all of us, Dave Mills, we all started screaming. Couldn't believe how good it sounded.
Awesome.
And we knew that day we'd go into the pedal business.
Right.
We didn't know what we'd made. That's a from scratch circuit. It was not a copy of anything.
Right. Oh, interesting.
It's not.
Let's get into it today then. So we're gonna cover off three main areas. We're going to talk about the new pedals for sure. Want to talk a little bit about Silver Sky and Silver Sky SE. Hugely interesting to me in particular, and also the new HDRX 20-watt amp. So we'll cover all of that. But seeing as we're into pedals, Paul, I guess the first question that everyone is asking is why Horsemeat? Where does the name come from?
I can't name a guitar, Horsemeat. I can't name a guitar, Born Through the Trees. I can't name a guitar, Mary Cries. In the pedal business, you can get away with murder. Look, this is what happened. I was in England, and there was a silver Klon in a case.
Yeah.
Never seen one, never played through one,
Wow.
never anything. Seen Jeff Beck step on one, you know. And I said, what's the big deal?
Go steady. I'm a Klon fan, man. I have one.
I took
so
it upstairs.
don't hurt me.
And I plugged it in, and I plugged it for 10 seconds, and wow, that's what the big deal is.
Oh, okay.
It was adding a beautiful high mid-range.
Yeah.
It had a kind of asymmetrical, good throaty distortion.
Yep.
But as I turned the gain up, the bass went down. And I tried to use it, but I couldn't because it took that beautiful bass of my amp away, and I didn't like that. It was, as Neil Sean says, a little nosy. It was a little bit mid-rangey. But for a Strat, that's magic, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I called this electrical engineer I know, and I said, well, let's design a circuit, not from that circuit, but I want control over the treble. I want control over the bass. I want control over the high mid-range. I want control over how throaty it sounds, you know? And so we made one, and it ended up being magic, and then we made another one. It didn't sound the same. And we spent months tracking down why.
Right.
And we finally got them all. That sounds exactly, you can't, if in a closed eye test, you can't hear it from the original. But to me, then we weren't going to name it that. The joke was that it ate Klon Centaurs for breakfast. That was the joke. But look, I like Holy Grails. I just got back from Japan. There was one there on a deal for 7,000 quid. On a deal.
Far out.
It was the gold one. They really wanted 10 for it, but because it was me, I was, the 7. And they were going for ridiculous money. I like that there are Holy Grails in the pedal business.
That's really
I like that there's Holy Grails in the amp business. I like that stuff. I've got a 66 Plexi in my office that looks brand new and sounds beautiful. It's a Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It's a PA amp, right? And that's okay with me. I learn from these things. So that's okay with me. So the joke was okay with me because it was all ready. And then I went into the office of the person who was designing the pedals because there's a bird outlines all over the pedals, right? And I said, you can't call a pedal Horsemeat. And Mark quickly said, we're not changing that name. I said, you can't do that. He goes, we just did it. I said, we all like it. But the problem with the PETA people is they think I'm putting horses in one side of the factory and pedals come out the other. That's not what's going on. I'm sorry, it's just a name. Get over it. I mean, look, if you can't have fun in the pedal business, you've got some pedals up here of names I can't repeat on film.
Yeah.
All right, and we didn't do that. I mean, look, just go to the old Electro-Harmonix first Fuzz pedal and stop there. Yeah. And I was a kid and I didn't understand what it was. So I'm sorry, there have been some names in our business. That's nothing compared to what's really happened.
Let's get listen to it then. And I just want to say a personal hello to Mark Quigley. He's still with you guys.
Oh, he's the art director. He's a monster. He did a great job.
Awesome.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean,
awesome. Hey, Mark.
What I wanted was them to look the same, so that if you saw one of those pedals on a pedal board, you immediately knew it was a PRS pedal. I didn't want to change colors.
That's an interesting point because it's so hard to do now. Pedal market's so saturated. There's so many new products coming on. There's so many classic looks, and fair play, you have achieved that. They do look unique, don't they?
They look
you
great.
can tell.
Yeah.
You know if it's a PRS pedal. You know it. Well, if you only had a red one, if you only had that's coming. Oh, I'm going to be shot. I'm sorry. Can I have a blue one, please? It's coming. You know, you're even going to ask for one, right?
There'll be your special edition.
Yeah. And when I say no, but maybe we could make the LEDs yellow instead of blue. Maybe that would be it.
All right, let's start there then, because when we were setting up and getting some sounds earlier, we were playing the Horsemeat, and Paul's immediately like, well, hang on a minute, that's not how we do it. The diodes aren't working there, which of course is everything everyone says about the Klon, in that lots of people use it as a boost before the overdrive
What's wrong with
starts
that?
working.
If it works to make music, who cares?
Yeah,
totally.
But you were saying you should have put an LED on there to show when the diodes are in play.
Well, we did that on Mary Cries. We couldn't hear it working, but we knew it sounded better. So we put the light on so you knew when it was working. And the first thing Tim did was he turned off the compressor and used it as a boost pedal, which we knew it was a good one, but we didn't understand how good a one it was.
Right.
Look, originally there was a device made that was an echo unit that had a flanger on the echo, and then it went into a reverb. And so it went, sounded like Wind Through the Trees. So
Okay.
that's where the name came from. It's supposed to sound like a storm of wind going through the trees and you playing with speakers going in a storm, as if it put the speaker in the woods and it was a big storm. That's what it's supposed to sound like.
Wow.
I mean, so that's the most straight up name on the whole thing. In a way, Mary Cries is more transparent than Horsemeat. Horsemeat's got this throaty, thick sound without adding mid-range.
Go there.
What's your favourite setting on the Horsemeat then, Paul? Let's start there. Where do you like it?
Well, you've got a reverb hooked up here, but leave it on because I like the way it sounds. Why are you laughing? Is that good or bad?
It's good. It's entirely good. That is the sound I'll always associate with you,
Well, it makes my sound.
regardless of what guitar you're playing, regardless of...
Well, that was the bass pickup. Did you ever notice the Slash plays leads on the bass pickup? Yeah. Do you ever notice Hendrix plays leads on the bass pickup? Steve Morse used to go treble pickup down here and switch real quick and do the bass pickup up here. It's very commonly done.
But it's you. It's absolutely you.
Well, that's good.
And it's nice to hear, after all these years.
Well, let's try the treble pickup then. Turn it back on. Turn the output level down. It should sound the same. Same lick I played on the bass pickup. Sorry. I don't know. It sounds good to me.
It sounds fantastic. And I love that mid-range thing that I associate with you. Dan, let's hear some telly.
But it's your guitar.
Yeah, I know.
But it's your note.
It's your note.
You could play the Silver Sky SE instead of that.
I'm going to start on this, and then we're going to go. Then we're going to go.
Yeah, all right.
We got to start totally familiar, and then we'll wander into new territory.
Sound in your hands.
Oh my goodness.
You have a very nice
Thanks
sound.
for watching.
We'll see you next
We'll
week.
see you next week.
You got that out of a tally? Good job. Time out. Some people have bright hands. Some people have regular hands. Some people have dark hands. You've got thick sounding hands. It's good. It's really good.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
One of the
Paul.
things
Thank you.
about
Oh
the
my
new Robin
goodness.
Ford guitar is he went for a real clear pickup
there's that
because he's
too.
got really thick sounding hands.
Right.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so good. He's so good.
Slight
David
tangent.
Grissom. I'm sorry. He's one of the greatest gunslingers I've ever seen. I saw him walk out on the stage at the Whiskey A Go-Go after the amp blew up, pissed off, and he just tore it down. David can play.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I like big sounding hands.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it until there were two guitar players in a room. I played the lick, and somebody took it from me, and they played exactly the same lick, and it was twice as bright. And I took it back, and I went back, and it was less.
Wow.
And I realized that I'm chirping all the low notes, but not chirping the high notes. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Turn it down.
If that's too much reverb, we
So
can knock
if
it
you
back a
play
bit.
an old free tune, he's chirping the note. chirping. And I think the chirping came from the amp being too bassy, and they needed the bass to go away. And if you listen to Gilmour, he's chirping the low notes. You listen to, if you listen to, chirping the notes, but it's a quarter chirp, and he's using the tip of his pick. And it took me, I mean, I wanted it so bad. If Carlos is going, he's not chirping the note.
Right.
But he knows how to get rid of bass down low.
Right.
That's fascinating.
And so that I didn't understand the quarter chirping thing until I used to sit people at the top of the stairs in my studio, and we would be doing a guitar lesson with a 100-watt amp playing through the room downstairs, and then we all this bass coming out, and I was like, you got to get rid of the bass, but there was no tone control on the guitar to do it. You got to do it with your hand. It's just so cool.
It is.
Every day's a learning day.
It is.
You're doing it. That's the tone in your hands that I'm talking about. You are futzing with the tone of the string with your pick. Both of you guys are doing it. He started playing David Grissom licks when I walk in. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. But if you can do that through a pedal, that's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, let's hear it through the Strat. I want to hear it through the Strat.
My first question is, so treble and bass is pretty obvious, Paul. The voice presumably is
high mid-range.
So is it like 3K kind of, or is it lower than that?
I'm not telling you what note I tuned it to.
Come on.
But it's pretty wide.
Yeah,
it's not real narrow. It's not a wah-wah pedal. It's a wide EQ like on a Neve console. And we tuned it to exactly the note we wanted.
Right.
And you want me to tell every other mid-pedal manufacturer exactly what note we picked after a year of working on it in 10 seconds, and then I'm done. 4.7K. That's a lot. And that's a lot.
Even I know it's not that high. Come on then, Dan.
It ain't 1.2K.
No.
All right, so somewhere between 1.2 and 4.7K. Look, they're all whistle notes. They're all whistle notes. In a Strat, every note that you play has this whistle note in it. You can hear it because it sounds like a Strat.
Right.
That pickup is a parametric equalizer. It's adding a note to every note you play. Mm-hmm. That's just where we've gotten to with John Mayer's pickups, with all the LT pickups, all the stuff that I brought a guitar that I want your opinion of. I didn't want to just come here and do this video. I wanted your opinion about a future product of ours and what it sounded like, because your guys are like a wagon wheel. You're right in the middle of this huge event. You're not just asking about pedals. You're asking about amplifiers. You're asking about guitars. I need to start with our guitars, da 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 da. And then I walk in here and you've got an old Lexicon reverb hooked up as a pedal. Give me a break. What is that thing called?
It's called it's by a company called Chase Bliss Audio, and it's a CXM 978.
Well, it sounds like an old Lexicon plate.
That does make me happy. Paul has got the most unbelievable studio, so he's got all the real stuff. Which is
an EMT 250.
Oh, really?
I have a 252, and it has a 250 program in it. There's a program online you can buy that's wire for wire, the same thing.
Wow.
So some of these plugins have actually got. I know you guys aren't using plugins in this sound thing, which I really like.
For this we don't, but for music production we do. Yeah,
that's fine. But I got to tell you, there's this many plugins, but a few of them just work.
Yeah, sure.
Let's Dan, walk me down through the gain on the horsey, can you? And
yes.
We'll see where we are with the
This
Strat.
is not a horsey.
Sorry, the horse.
Horsey is a slang term for a clon or a clon clone.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
right?
The dissected carcass of the horse.
Yeah,
we shall.
Device.
Yeah.
But it's still giving a little bit of throatiness.
Exactly. That little mid-range kick, and that's the thing.
But that's not from EQ. That's from the circuit.
Right. Yeah. I think there's when you hear that sound after a fuzz face, any fuzz that gives you that scoopiness.
Right, no, wait. Let's do it. I don't see a fuzz face.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. Looks like something. That's a fuzz face. Yeah. Okay. It's a clone of a fuzz face.
Well, it's as good as we've got them all, and it's as good. I do have a bunch of fuzz faces.
Okay, but the round one won't fit on the pedal board.
Not for this one.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, this does sound rather spectacular. So
hang on, I want to hear some position 2 on a cleaner setting.
okay.
Thing sounds spectacular turned down. I've never heard it like that. You remind me of the days when Marshall amps first came out, and in the manual said, turn it up till it distorts and turn it down one number. And the guitar players went, that ain't happening. and they went the other way. They're amps with their PA systems.
Yeah, right.
And they like the sound of them distorting.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is using the pedal as a thickener, not as a distortion device, which is why it says transparent overdrive on it.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were playing through a clean amp.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And also having the 3 EQ points there as well just helps you get it tuned in.
And I turned the bass down because of the bass on your guitar.
Yeah.
And you turned the treble, and you turned the mid range back up. I had turned it down. But you're teaching me. Look, if we've done our job and these are professional pieces of audio here, you're going to learn how to use them in ways we never thought about.
Sure.
That's exactly the way it's going to work.
Okay, so what's this? Silver Sky SE. I've been super interested in this for obvious reasons. So John Mayer's signature guitar. I wish we had about 5 hours because there's so many things I want to ask you, Paul.
Ask him.
Particularly about working with him, but I just know...
Ask.
And Robin Ford for
There's
that
a picture of him in the bathroom. Ask.
Pretty much all my favourite guitar
Did
players.
you notice that?
Yeah.
I went in the bathroom and there's my friend hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I was there.
That's
I was there.
weird. That was
the day that picture was taken. That's why it's on the bathroom.
It was on the cover of Guitarist magazine.
Yeah.
And the compliment on the front, it says, this guy's just killing it on every level is what it basically says.
That was your compliment, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wrote those cover lines, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. But a more cost-effective version of the Silver Sky. One thing I want to say straight off the bat is it's really lovely weight. I know people get really super chewy about that, but it matters to me. Chewy? Unhappy. Yeah, it's a point of great argument.
Chewbacca.
You must love a guitar debate, Paul. Like wood doesn't make any difference
Oh,
to tone.
God, ask me that one. Oh, my God. I found an answer in Germany on this trip that is so devastating. Nobody has an argument with it. Ask me that question.
Let's have a quick listen to Silver Sky. And the good news is it's going to be living with us for a while as well, so we can
awesome.
we can have a decent listen to it
I'll turn
over
this off
time.
first.
I have a prediction.
Can I just give it to him right now? It's yours. You can have it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
No. You can have it. I thought you were going to lambaste me for the sound of these pedals, and you seem to like them, so you can have them.
Okay, Paul,
That's
that is
very
extremely
kind.
generous. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, you guys are agnostic. You're not. If you don't like it, you're going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the deal of this show, that you guys are going to keep your honesty about it. I mean, that's journalism. But so far, you've been smiling, so I'm good.
Let's see
Believe
now.
me, if you were making it sound good like a result in a magazine on the test where they make it sound good but they hated it, you're not doing that to me.
Let's see then. Let's have a listen.
What do they call that? The verdict?
Yeah.
And the verdict is, well, it's for the money. It's okay.
I've actually, as you both will know, I've stood up in many meetings and argued for hours about those things over the years. Anyway, right.
Well, the problem is the salespeople wanted to keep the advertisers, and if they had a bad product, it was your job to say it wasn't good, and then they were going to fire you. It's a very complicated little game which you guys handled really well.
Yeah, I think we did a decent job of it in the UK. Anyway, this is possibly more contentious than the wood debate, which we'll get back to in a minute.
No. The one we're talking about is not public knowledge. The wood debate is public knowledge. Yeah. So let's go down the wood debate.
Okay.
Oh,
I want to hear this guitar. Presence, top end, cut.
It sounded like John.
Really not.
It's his tone.
I do love John Mayer.
He actually uses a teeny bit less high end than that. Can I do that?
Please. And I'm jealous that he's your friend.
That sounded like Jeff Beck.
It
did. It sounded like Ronnie Scott's. Is that the name of this? That's what.
Yeah.
That was the tone of Ronnie Scott. Good job.
So we know it works as a boosty thing that we like.
Yes.
And movable.
Boosty?
Let's
all these English terms. I love it.
Boosty. Let's do. We heard it with some gain earlier. I just want to hear it after the fuzz. So regular viewers of the show will know that one of the things that we like to do is boost after a fuzz, and it just adds a bit of aggression mid-range after the fuzz to stop that really woofy thing.
Yep.
Can we just have a quick listen to that and then we'll move on?
Don't ask me. Turning these knobs like the knobs on an EQ on a console in a recording studio. Actually, they're made exactly the same. Okay, wow. These are recording studio EQs. So I'd never heard anybody doing it, but I'm finding the more and more we demonstrate, the more and more sensitive they are.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because at the end, that last tone you got sounded like you had the tone control turned down and you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You don't have an exclusive on sound in hands. He's doing
No.
Sorry, you don't have an exclusive.
The only reason I would have anything in my hands is because I've been sat next to him for 7 years going, why don't I sound like that?
Not true. That is not true.
As Carlos Santana says, deal with it. That's not going to fly. Where's my coffee? I need caffeine for this one. We're going to start arguing. I can't wait.
The name drop horn would have been.
So why don't we name it That Argument Show instead of That Pedal Show?
Well, it would get some views. I'd like that. Would you like a refill?
No, I like my coffee.
Okay.
You got it right the first time. Don't miss the second one.
I have to say, the only time I've seen Carlos up close was at a PRS Experience Day.
He played really well.
Oh man, that was a big day. Buddy Guy was there that year as well. That was.
Carlos plays big and powerful.
Yeah.
He sees it as a tenor saxophone with big bass. He wants to be thick,
right?
Playing melodies. If the whoever's leaving for the bathroom with a beer in their hand in the back of 20,000 seats is singing the melody he's playing, that's so powerful.
Right. Yeah.
So powerful.
Big days.
We've made it through one pedal.
We have. Let's talk about flangers. So Dan is a massive fan of flangers, Paul.
It's a very important effect to me.
Only one on the planet. If you had a marketing department decide to do pedals, it would not be another distortion pedal. It would not be a compressor, and it wouldn't be two flangers fighting each other in a box.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When the press release came through and PRS got in touch and said, "Do you want to see our new pedals?" A little bit of my heart sank, honestly, because I thought, "Oh God, it's going to be a range of same." And then I saw, hang on, it's an optical compressor, a dual analog flanger, and an overdrive pedal with an interesting name. And I thought, okay, I think Paul's done this. I don't think
the marketing
a
department hasn't
department
presented you with
has
3
done
pedals.
this.
It's like, actually, no.
No, I had the best electrical engineers I know help me design it. And then the QC process was months and months to make machinery to be able to test them at alarming speed.
Right.
Because we wanted to test everyone that went out.
Yeah, right.
So what do you think of the, I'm sorry, it's 2 flangers fighting each other.
Dan.
Yeah. So it's hard in flanger world to come up with something interesting and creative.
Yeah.
And you've done that, but it doesn't mean anything unless it sounds amazing.
That's right.
It did. I when I was printing the labels out, I did have to laugh when horse and wind were next to each other. Horse wind.
The less successful Hawkwind tribute band.
Horsewind. It's Mary's Horsewind. Come on. I mean, you got to go for it. Go for it.
Let's go for it.
You know, in 10, the line in the movie is, when Mrs. Kissel breaks wind, we beat the dog. Do you know that line from the movie?
I remember the movie. Yeah.
When Mrs. Kissel breaks wind, we beat the dog.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Come on.
Without even playing anything, as soon as it comes in and you hear that movement,
So the regeneration and the highs are off. Can I turn them on?
yes, please.
G chord or a regular D chord. Why these beautiful exotic chords? Why would you even think about playing something nice? I'm kidding. You're playing beautiful chords.
Dan, explain the smile. Because we talk about this a lot. Whenever we have a flanger on, we talk about this a lot. Why are you smiling?
Because it's got top end and it's got chime. It's the thing, right? When you've got a flanger that works and you connect with it,
Yeah.
what it doesn't do is it doesn't diminish the transient,
That's right.
right? And the issue that there's a lot of really interesting digital representations and they're fine, but the issue that I've had with every single one of them is that the transient's gone. It's getting a flanger to sound right is a really, really hard thing to do. And as soon as I played that, because I walked in this morning and Mick had set the board up. I was out last night. I was with Roxy Music last night going to see Phil Manzanera, and so I had they shut the roads off. I had a 4-hour trip back, and I thought, I'm desperate to play through it. I'm not going to get to play through it until just before you walk in.
Well, it's like studying for the test 5 minutes before class starts.
Yeah. Welcome to that pedal show.
But as soon as I played the first chord, it was instant. It's like, you've nailed this. You've done it properly, because that initial attack is everything. So, like, for example, if I add a little bit of horsey onto that with just a little bit of
Horsemeat.
Horsemeat.
If you hit him with my guitar, can you not snap
call
it,
it
please?
horsey. I want the slang terms. It's good. Go.
Okay.
Go. Don't stop. I'm not trying to control anything. Once you release it, you got to let it fly. The bird is going through the trees.
So if I just do a picky thing on the bridge pickup, and then I'll kick the wind through the trees and just listen to that transient, the very first part of the note.
Something out. That flangey sound that you're hearing, if you turn the regeneration off, it'll become more like a chorus pedal. Do exactly the same thing. So
2 LFOs.
when we did this, all flangers add high end, but you have no control over it. Where the area and chorus pedal, there's a tone control where you have control over the high end. But with flangers, they had to add the high end because the flanger was literally phasing out the high end.
Yep.
But I wanted control over it because I'm going through 6 flangers trying to find one that has control over it. You've got a really old flanger back here that was really early on, the old Boss one. They didn't add high end to those.
No.
And so that was if you turn the knob off, that's what that would be. And
Wow.
then the best flangers I've ever heard were Electra flangers, and the old Pearl Drum Company made Pearl flangers.
Yeah.
And as for me, that was being able to control how much added high end, being able to control how wet dry it is, which you usually can't do.
Yep.
The regeneration normally would be on each one, but when David drew this, he put the regeneration on the output of both of them, and I was like, no. And then I tried it, and I left. I'll leave it alone. Now you're regenerating both of the LFOs at the same time. And I just got a picture on my phone of somebody in Kenny Greenberg, the great guitar player from Nashville. He's only using one LFO. He turned it all the way and I was like, huh? He goes, no, that works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Kenny's really smart, right? I mean, people are doing things with these pedals. Like you're using it in a way I would never use it. I mean, you're using it in that eighth note grind. It's almost Van Halen-ish.
Yeah. But the movement that it adds to that. I mean, and there's something else I'll just quickly do because like the mix control as well is for, like personally is so important because what I can do is I can, like at the moment we're going into both amps, right? And so we get this. But if I turn the mix control all the way up and I separate it out and only send the fully wet signal to one amplifier.
It's called mid-air flanging. You are flanging in the air. That's like an airplane going overhead and it goes, you hear it and you hear it bounce off the tarmac and it's flanging in the air. That's called mid-air flanging. I wanted to make a mid-air flanger, but I didn't want to tell everybody they needed 2 amps.
Okay.
My amp rig in the old days was an MXR flanger, the gray one, with the dry signal disconnected. It went in one amp and the other one in the other amp, and that was my tone. I was a mid-air flanged everything and every gig I played, and it was this gentle flanging that just this in the air chorus. And I put 2 cabinets together like this and put the mic in the middle, and it was catching the air flange. You just did my old rig.
I just want to hear it with a bit of horsey and a bit of delay.
Yeah, I have a quick question about Paul. Do you like overdrive before flanger or after?
I like plugging into a good amp and getting out and give me a guitar cable. I don't use pedals.
Okay, no. Okay, so the answer is
Sorry, I like my amps.
so the answer is you like overdrive after flanger because the amp's overdriving, right?
Depends. Sometimes we'll put a flanger on the Pro Tools afterwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll put it before. I have one of those huge blue MXR rack mount flangers, and Eric Johnson uses.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to get it right to use it, but we use flangers all the time before the amp. The amp is mostly clean. It's got some breakup. If you play one note, it's clean. You play 2 notes light, it's clean. And as you start pushing 2 notes, it starts to distort.
But that's the situation where the transient is everything because you're going. If the flanger is going into a gain stage that's limiting, if you don't have the transient hitting it properly, it's just dark. But if the transient is there on the flanger and it pushes the amp into limiting, it is the most magical thing.
You like it.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I just want to hear it.
No, you're the fan of a flanger. Now, let me tell you where this came from. We used to take 2 flangers and plug them in series.
Okay.
And the clocks were fighting each other. That's where this came from.
So are they in series in there then?
No, they're in parallel.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because that's the way David designed it. I would have I didn't want the noise problem in series, but we would set up a Mutron 2-knob phaser into a Electra flanger, and an Electra flanger sounds just like a Leslie. Let me show you. You want to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, go on, play. We're going to go one. You put your... is we'd be sitting there hitting the Leslie button over and over and over again, depending on the part of the tune. Fast, slow, fast, slow. Haven't gone there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, what fun.
It's, yeah, look. Yeah. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
It is just, it's, you've nailed it.
That's sweet.
It's one thing to get functionality right and throw some creative things in there, which we all love. We all love sitting down with things that make you play a certain way and brings different things out of you. But you know, there's having a creative interface, and then there's having a thing that actually sounds awesome. You know what I mean?
The first one,
and
John Mayer played through the prototype because that's no pedal. That's a piece of high-end audio gear.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So this is where it came from. This is where I'm a kind of a scientist. The speaker on the bottom of a Leslie is 3 feet from the rotor. That's flange range, 3 feet, 3 milliseconds. So the chorus is like 25 milliseconds. So to me, a flanger without the regeneration sounded like a Leslie.
Sure.
Though it's the regeneration that makes it sound like, here, look, if I do this and turn the regeneration up now, same exact LFO, now it sounds like a flanger. He was doing? He was scraping the strings in the back of the guitar. So to me, the regeneration is the sound of a flanger, and the getting them to fight each other. You know, I've never tried this. Let's make the choruses almost the same speed, and let's see what happens. I've never done this. Try this. Let's see what it sounds like. You know, if you listen to Van Halen, he's got some of that modulation going on between his preamp and power amp.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what he used, but I hear it all the time, you know, with Back in Black or, you know, whatever that is. It's interesting. I'm learning right now that there's Van Halen tones in this. I didn't really understand that till you started talking about the transients and playing that way.
Yeah.
For me, I was using it David Gilmour style.
Okay.
I was playing all these 2 chords and, you know, things would drop, you know, whole step down for the bass note and stuff.
But that's the thing. If you make something that it isn't, you know, a one-trick Horsemeat, if you...
A one-trick Horsemeat? You made it a 2-trick pony today by turning it down using it as an EQ pedal. I didn't know it was an EQ pedal till you showed me. That's 2 tricks. Maybe we can go for 3.
No, but what I'm saying, if you make something that isn't a one-trick Horsemeat, then because you see players what they can bring out of it.
That's
you know?
the new expression. If the pedal sucks, it's a one-trick Horsemeat. Oh, great! Yeah. I've just been labeled. That's great. You know something? You're right. one trick ponies are one trick, but sometimes
and they're great.
It's
And
but
that's
there's
what
a
you
lot
need.
of there's a
But
lot of
there's
tricks in there.
Exactly,
All right,
exactly.
fair
And
enough.
it's really beautiful, mate.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
One final question I have on it, Dan. You
Yeah.
like that kind of metallic sound up front
I do.
of an overdrive?
Yep.
Can we try and dial that in and just see where you are with that?
Sure.
Dan will often use a really tiny...
Should I put earplugs in and move, because that thing's right in my head and he's going to turn the treble way up? Here, go. I want to live through this.
It'll be nice, Paul. You'll like it.
Listen, great guitar players play with a lot of high end. Go. Now I can take it. Go. I'll turn it all the way up. I have a question.
Smiley face?
What is this switcher that sounds so natural? What the hell is this thing? Did you make this?
I did.
Well, you're gonna off camera. You're gonna have to tell me how much it costs, because that sounds like a relay switcher.
Oh, thank you, mate.
How did you do that? I mean, you guys have made pedals work. Pedals typically, when you hit the pedal, the cable from the pedal to the amp goes away because of the buffer, and the high end jumps up. But that's not doing that. How'd you do that?
I'll tell you.
Is it passive?
Yeah, completely.
Well, I'm not going to get on my knee and beg forgiveness, but that's really well done.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you. I mean, look.
Tell me, are these commercially available?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll.
Do you
I'll get
sell them
one.
to Chicago Music Exchange? Do you sell them to Sweetwater? Do you sell them to Guitar Center? Do you sell them to all the dealers in America?
I don't.
Well, maybe I could introduce you to all of them. Do you have a manufacturing plant for them? You put horses in one side and then pedal boards come out the other? I mean, is that what it is?
That's very kind. No, we're a small little company in the UK, but you know, I guess the thing is,
lots of really serious guys use Dan's
This
stuff.
is really, really good.
thank you, mate. Thanks very kind.
You done good, bud.
Thank you.
Now, I'll teach you Americanism, all right? Say G-E-E-T. Did you eat yet? Jeet? Now, I had an Englishman, a friend of mine, Jono, who runs a store here in this country, and he and his wife, she delivered this beautiful baby, and I get this text, proper chuffed.
That's got to be John Peach, hasn't it?
No.
Oh, is it not?
No, this was Jono at the Music Locker
okay.
in Derby. Proper chuffed means really happy.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm proper chuffed. This is really good.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Time
you.
out. This is really good. This is really good. You guys are making pedals work in a way that I'm only hooking them up quick to the amp, you know?
Well, the thing is, that so what we noticed, what I noticed originally, was no matter the quality of the pedal, as soon as you start hooking them up in series, it's always compromised.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that
it's about 15 picofarads per jack.
There you go. So, and what we noticed was,
I'm sorry, scientist.
no, dude,
I'm sorry.
I'm right there with
G?
you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with G.
sorry. I'm trying to crack you guys like Humpty Dumpty.
No,
it's just good.
Come on,
fun.
keep it coming.
Come on,
That's
man,
great,
go.
that's great. Yeah. Okay, look, let's get to the Merry Cries because we've still got a bunch. How are you doing for time? Because there's still a bunch of questions I want to ask.
Ask.
Are you okay?
He's on a plane today. You guys have stopped in here on the way to.
This
to
is not
go
on the
home,
way.
so
I
know.
stopped at
This is
Stonehenge
so
on
not
the way. I have to drive by Stonehenge at 70 miles an hour to get to the airport on time. Just keep asking.
Okay, let's
Look,
get.
we're having a good time.
Well, yeah, it's
What the hell?
best.
You guys clearly have this whole pedal thing sussed. And the reason the world's watching you is because you know what you're doing. And I haven't been in the middle of this wagon wheel that I'm sitting in right now. The one thing I don't like about this is I can't play at the same time as you. You've got it set up that if you play, I'm muted. Now you're gonna have to fix that later.
Okay, all right. We'll sort it out.
Sort it out. That's another one. We're just gonna have saying after saying after saying after saying.
Okay, optical compressor. Let's get the optical compressor sorted.
Yeah.
Sorted.
He says I sound like Dick Van Dyke, which is the biggest insult in England that's possible for Mary Poppins.
Yeah. Well, he's the best. You know, it's one of the world class American English accents.
Sean, you
isn't it?
serious, Governor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he say? Step in time.
Step in something.
I want to know about compression, Paul.
That's an optical compressor. That's a LA2A and a pedal.
That was going to be
There
my
you
question.
go.
Because you're such a big studio guy and you have an amazing studio and you hear studio with studio ears, my question was, where do you start with a guitar compressor? Because at one end you've got MXR Dynacomp and at the other end you've got proper studio compressors.
So this thing was designed by Annie Casella. She did a great job.
Right.
And there's a really slick trick in it that makes it so that it doesn't go suck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
that
pumping.
when we tried it and when Annie sent it, we didn't really understand. We couldn't hear it working, so we put a light on it so we could see it working.
Right.
Because it sounded better, and we knew it was compressing, but it was so transparent would be the right word. So not there, it was there. It's just like a really good LA2A on a vocal. You don't notice it's on. The needle's moving like crazy, but the vocal sounds just fine.
So do you think of it in a post sense then, or do you think of it as a pre kind of?
I think it is a pre-device, but that thing's so good you could use it on a vocal and a pedal board.
Wow.
I mean, in a patch bed.
It's just in a studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So try it.
We know that you said Tim set it up as a boost.
Yeah.
How do you? Where's your start point with it?
All right, so you have to unmute me. Turn the compressor all the way up.
So compression all the way
All the
up.
way up.
Yeah.
And just leave that where it was. Turn it off. It's three-dimensional when it's on. It's a mono signal that sounds three-dimensional, which is the holy grail. The problem with old gear is it promises that everything's going to sound better. Mostly it's a lie, but once in a while, oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah.
The whole idea of these three pedals with it sounded three-dimensional. Or stereo, it didn't sound mono. I know I'm running stereo, but you're doing it through the whole rig, right?
You're dual mono.
Yeah, it's dual
It's just
mono. It's just the same thing coming out of both amps. What's interesting, I hope it comes through on the audio because what you would associate with the compressor is exactly what you said, the suck on the front, but there was none of that. You heard the front of the note.
The pumping as the compressor is kicking in.
It just sounds mo better.
Yeah.
That's what we say in America, mo better. Or more better.
It cleans everything up really nice. I just want to have a quick listen to see what it does. One of the things I like to use a compressor for is single note stuff because it gives you a bit of that.
Does this have a buffered output?
It's got a preamp that you can switch in and out.
Is the buffer transparent?
Yeah.
It's not buffered at the moment.
It's not buffered at the moment. It's off because you can switch.
Can you get a green card and move to America? down, top one down a little teeny bit. I don't want, now that I've used the two names of the people that helped me electrical engineering wise to do this, and now
anyone
all
steal
the
them.
other companies, now you work for me. I will come kill you. Don't do it, because I gave him credit, which I like giving people credit.
Sure.
David Fox and Annie Cassell did a great job, and Shane Morris was up to his eyeballs in making sure that these things were they're supposed to be. And then you've got Satimi and Schaefer and all the people in the marketing department and the accessory department that really focused on the one rule: do not release it unless it has a chance of making the pedal board and staying on it. I wanted pedals that got dirty, not ones that sat on the side table.
For us,
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Right?
It's
So,
the getting dirty thing is because most of our pedals are clean, right? Because we've got so many of them. But
yeah.
the ones
But
on
your
the board are
your
dirty.
pedal board's dirty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How many pedals made your pedal board?
About 6 or 7.
Yeah, and how many on yours?
12.
Well, that means he's a double slut. They're called gear sluts in America.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, start asking the question, because we hit Mary Cries really well.
Yeah, I just want to have a quick listen to that again. I'm going to stick some horse meat on after.
Here we go.
Just boost.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Flippin' heck.
What I wanted
Did
to.
you thank David for that last note?
Yeah. I thought I'd thank him most weeks.
Did you thank David for that last note? I'm sorry, that's right out of his book. He invented that lick.
I'm glad you're saying it, because lots of people in the comments say it. You know how much I love Grissom, right? You know,
Yeah,
I know
well,
he's
he
your
just did it.
friend.
Well, we were
He's
in the
very
middle of
proud of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's him.
We were in the middle of getting him out here to do a bunch of TPS gigs when COVID hit.
So call him again.
Yeah, no, we will do.
Listen, David knows a lot about pedals.
No, he's amazing.
David
Yeah.
really knows a lot about buffers and a lot about not using buffers. And,
Sure.
and he's got 3 amps going without adjusting the amp. When he used to do these videos about, this is my 3 amp setup. He once played through an early prototype amp of ours, and it had an extra overdrive knob. And he was playing at the Bayou in DC, and he hit the button with Joe Ely and went for it. I mean, he likes hitting the button. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, he totally is.
If that's going over your head, David Grissom, please check out David Grissom, one of our collective favorite guitar players. I think I can
And knows
speak
a
for all
lot
of us.
about pedals.
Yeah.
He's tone monster. The reason I wanted to do that was because with a compressor, sometimes to get enough compression so that it feels
My ride's here.
my ride's here. Yeah, that's Gav's alarm saying get on the road now.
No, go. Believe me.
To get enough compression so that it was super slinky and it makes you want to feel like you want to dig in, but then hit an overdrive after. Sometimes you can lose the front of the note into the overdrive.
That's right.
But that is not doing that, and that just felt, for want of a better word, elastic and rubbery, and all those things we associate with compression made me want to play, because it took away a lot of the kind of hard punch of the front.
Very interesting circuit. I'm telling you, that's new to our industry, what Annie did. It's new. And I said, why is it doing this? And she's told me, and I was like, okay. It was cool. It's not the bass isn't moving.
Yeah.
It's the other frequencies that are moving. It's really smart.
And it quite often with compression as well, for me, many of them can just accentuate the high end too much. That doesn't do that. It just gives you enough.
No. normally when you hit Mary Cries, it eliminates the cable to the amp. But the way you have this set up somehow with all the pedals being in parallel, switching in and out, it's not doing that.
Okay, so look, we know that we're sort of under
How am I going to get a
stuff.
PRS in your hands?
Well,
Have you tried one, or are you just going to be a telly guy for the rest of your life?
To be
what do
fair-
I have to do?
to be
There's
fair-
a 53 Esquire in my office. Maybe you should play that.
We did ask the audience, Paul, some of the things they would like to ask you, and one of the questions was, would you ever go there?
Go where? You want to know what I'm going to release?
Well,
Ahead of my marketing team telling you?
no,
Yeah,
because you
totally.
went. You went here.
No,
you went
I'm here
here.
because
Are
my
you gonna go
marketing
here?
team. I went there because John asked me to.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
I went there because we thought we could make a guitar of incredibly high quality, not in this country.
Yeah.
Just like an iPhone's not made in this country.
Yeah,
it's
right.
a really good device.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that Hendrix amp is not made in this country. We're using it and it's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Can
we
you're
talk about that
asking
for a
me?
sec?
You're asking me? Are we going to make a T-type guitar? That's what you just asked me. Yeah, that's what. Just admit it. As Carlos said, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah,
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
No, I can't tell you that. But if you come to the factory, I'll show you every prototype we're working on. And I brought a prototype here that you can go off camera, which I want your opinion about before I walk out of this
Okay.
room.
Okay.
And that needs to stay off camera,
What?
the prototype.
No, you can't show what's coming. That's not fair. Look. I will tell you this. We've learned how to tune pickups so they do exactly what we want.
Right.
And we've learned that they don't have to be single coils to sound like single coils, and I can prove it. If you listen to a jazz bass with both pickups on, it sounds like a single coil, but it's humbucking.
Yeah.
If you listen to a P bass, it sounds like a single coil, but it's humbucking. If you listen to the treble middle pickup on a Silver Sky, it's a single coil sound, but it's humbucking. Okay? It's got nothing. It turns out it's got nothing to do with humbucking. It has all to do with the way they're tuned. So that whistle note that's in that treble pickup, or the whistle note in this thing is so dark because there's this huge piece of brass over it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
You take that cover off, pickup sounds completely different.
Sure.
It's changing the whistle note. And to me, where we're headed, I don't want to just be making single coil pickups that hum like banshees. The new pickups in the Paul's guitar sound like P90s, but they're not humming, which is really important. Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise going on here. You got digital equipment all over the room for mixing and
lights and
all.
all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I'm sorry, humbugging is important.
Yeah.
You're getting away with it because you're not playing with that much gain.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, but if you wanted to really hit the gain knob, you'd be
It's a- yeah,
going
of
like
course.
this,
Yeah,
trying.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, in Pro Tools, it's very, very common that the engineer will go along through the solo, and every time they stop playing, they turn it off so that the noise is gone.
Sure.
Look, it's our time. I grew up from 1956 on. I was in diapers when all this stuff was going on, all right? To reverse engineer what's been going on has been really, really difficult. We recently did something to some old legendary pickups, and everything on the internet about how they were wound and made was wrong. We took a $5,000 pickup and unwound it, threw it away, took all the magnets, mailed them off, took all the parts, mailed them off, got reports back, and our jaws hit the floor. And we did it. You know what it sounded like? The same as the one we did.
Right.
We've recently reverse engineered an old 66 Marshall transformer, which is the best one Eric and I could find. And we plugged it in the other day. I couldn't hear the difference. If you get the metal and the windings right, that's got a really good sounding transformer in it with a trick. It's okay. We're going to even be able to do better than that. And that thing sounds like an old amp.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
It does. The other good news is that's going to stay with us for a while as well. So we will get
Fantastic.
we'll get a more detailed listen to it
Well, you just
over
kept being
time.
Christmas.
It is. It is. Fantastic.
Because we so need more amps, don't we, Dan?
No, you only need an amp that makes you happier. You don't need an amp just because an amp. You need an amp that does its
Yeah.
job.
Lots of amps makes me happy. Many, many amps.
One amp that's better than 10 makes me happy.
Yeah. I know, of course. Yeah.
No.
I'm being well. Look,
Dan's been using the same amp for many years, so he's
I'm right there with you.
we're there.
But
we're there.
I'm asking you to go to your favorite amp and do a shootout with that.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking you to do.
Done deal.
I'll live with the consequences.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so ask away.
Well,
how much time do we have?
15.
yeah. Okay.
Ask.
Cool.
By the way, you guys are being very generous with me today. I really appreciate the banter and the willingness to be open to about anything that comes along on the road of this discussion.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really pleased.
Well,
It's great to
I'll
chat.
just say, I mean, I've never met you before, and I've always wanted to meet you. And Mick's, been telling me stories and stuff. And for me, it's wonderful to see that you're as passionate about this stuff now. Considering where you are, and everyone who plays guitar knows PRS. You know what I mean?
Everyone.
That guitar, the shape of that guitar is iconic.
Good.
And you did that.
We did that.
So
And whose name is on the headstock?
exactly. So, but what's wonderful to me is there's not a hint of cynicism about anything you do. Where you are as a business.
Cynicism because I'd be sick of the industry?
No. So what I'm saying is, where you are as a business, you could have released 3 overdrive pedals, and people would have bought them, but you didn't.
No.
You've gone, I want to do really great things. So you're still passionate about doing great things. So that's that's really wonderful.
My hope is if somebody buys a pedal and they really like it, maybe they'll give the guitar a better chance.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
great.
That's what
great.
I want.
Yeah.
Look, we are really learning at an alarming rate. There was a very dry time, almost like nobody saw UFOs for a long time. And then all of a sudden there's all these sightings. I'm telling you, the information and the learning is coming so fast. I've learned so much on this trip. I'll give you an example. I walked into a place in the Netherlands, and there is a 1922 Lloyd Loar mandola. Because he didn't sign it, and I don't know all the facts, but this, I couldn't even believe I was holding it. And I've held a bunch of Ricky Skaggs' mandolins, so I have an idea, right? And I played the notes on it. This thing about took my head off. It was so loud. And it would have been competitive playing acoustically while you were playing the amp. That's how loud it was. And it sounded thick and big and mean. And because Lloyd hadn't signed it, it was right before he started signing it, the price was reasonable. And my comment was, we forgot. We forgot about tuning a mandolin down a fifth. We forgot about how beautiful these things can sound.
Right.
I mean, probably the most iconic mandolin tone of all time might be on Maggie May, the beginning of Maggie May, right?
Yeah.
In terms of rock music, not in terms of bluegrass, right? And we forget. We just forget.
Yeah.
We forget. And I don't want to forget. And I heard this thing, I was like, oh, this is coming home. Not because I wanted a collector's item, not because I wanted to add to a collection, because I wanted to show the people I work with what extraordinary musical instruments sound like.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to have a great singer in my house from England. His name was John Hogg. He was in a band called Moog.
Yeah.
That your friend
Paul
produced.
Stacey. Yeah. But
I
actually,
adore Paul. He used to be the demonstrator for PRS guitars in England, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, he used to say, "Is it for you or is it for me?" He used to say it at the dinner table, right? John could sing. Oh my God,
He's amazing.
He's-
And a
he's
guitar player.
brilliant. No, he's a genius guitar
He is a genius guitar player. Yeah. But that album, Carnival, Moke's album, is
ridiculous.
just unreal. Yeah.
So when he came to America to sing with us, we picked a tune off that record. He said, "I never thought you would pick that tune." He said that was the one nobody would ever do, and that's the one we wanted to do. And it's really well done. Anyway, I'm sorry to go on about extraordinary sounding things, but how could you not be excited about something that sounds so beautiful?
Yeah.
You guys are searching through a sea of electronic devices looking for magic. That's what your job is. And to tell the world about magic and get them a t-shirt. But by the way, I don't have one of your T-shirts, so you can sell one to me on the way out.
We'll merch you up
completely. Oh,
Right,
mate.
so what's the
We can
next
even give us some
question?
socks, Paul. Look at that.
No, I don't
Say
want
that pedal
socks.
show on
No.
the socks.
Where the college I went to, you had to wear 2 different color socks as you were in the jazz band, but if you're in a rock band, you wore the same color socks.
No way.
Yes way.
Brilliant.
I think we should.
Brilliant.
I think we should continue that tradition, Dan.
The jazz boats wore 2 different color socks.
Okay.
Dan
I
does
love
that anyway because he's got no idea what socks he's putting on in the morning.
None.
So
None.
Are you sock agnostic?
sock nuts.
Sock ambivalent.
Agnostic.
Sock ambivalent. What's the next question?
Okay, so we are limited on time. Paul's got to catch a plane. If you want to hear all about the HDRX amp, Peach Guitars, Paul did a great video with Peach where he also talks in depth about the Robin Ford guitar, which is a fascinating story. So please go and watch that.
It's the same circuit as the 100 watt we opened that he used it. It's exactly the same circuit, except it's got a master volume on the 20 because it was okay to do, but it wasn't okay to do on the 50 and 100. Hendrix was using his 100 watt amp as a PA.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry. The singer would go in and buy 2 Marshall columns with 412s and a 100 watt PA top, and he would sing through that. And the guitar player's PA was the amp.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's not what's going on now. Although you're behind me has been quite loud today. I'm sorry, it was to say play it loud. Oh, on your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like it loud, Paul.
I got that part.
We like it
All
loud.
right, so what's the next question?
No, so please go and if you want to know more about that, please do that. I guess I
I have a question for you.
Go on.
What's the most important pedal on a pedal board?
You're going to say the tuner.
That's
but
right, we're done. Next question.
I disagree.
All right, good.
Because I think if you can't tune your guitar, you've got no business playing the guitar. That's my view on
It's
it.
not taught the way it was when we were young. It's not taught with harmonics. It's not
Yeah.
taught the way it was. That's okay. Anyway, go on.
I want to talk about Silver Sky because obviously I am a gigantic John Mayer fan.
Yeah.
And candidly,
Yeah.
to see him come to PRS
Yeah.
after Fender
Yeah.
was a surprise. But I think as the time has gone on, I kind of get it. And I have a
It didn't surprise me.
Of course, it didn't. Surprise.
No. There have been people that should have really surprised. Mark Tremonti showing up surprised me.
Right.
There have been people. Mark Holcomb surprised me. But John didn't surprise me. What did surprise me is he needed a tool to play in the Grateful Dead, and we got the nod to make it. Oh my God, what an honor. And he went through every pickup we had, every scale length we had, every body shape we had, every hollow, every wiring, everything until he came up with that Super Eagle. And when I went up on the stage the first time he was using it at the tour, it sounded like steel drums, like Jamaican steel drums. It didn't sound like a guitar. And I was like, what in the hell? He said it's some pedal. I still never been able to figure out what the hell he was using. But I'm sure somebody's taken a picture of his pedal board and you guys have posted it. Right.
Yeah, we might know. I think that my hypothesis is, and maybe you could tell us if this is right or wrong, someone of that stature,
Yeah.
or whether it's Carlos or whether it's Robin Ford or whoever it might be, they want to talk to the guy whose name is on the headstock and they want to feel like they're being cared for by somebody way up there who is going to listen to them.
Who actually cares about it?
Do you think there's any truth in that?
I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
It needs to be a direct relationship. I think if I wasn't a guitar maker and I was a businessman and the guitar maker was Bev Fowler, John would have talked to Bev. I mean, but John and Bev have a great relationship. They talk all the time. So that's okay with me. But I think it is important that they get the attention due. Robin goes on and on and on about it in his video about the guitar, which surprised me. But what a sound in his hands. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, what an honor. You know, I started getting excited when we got close to this place because I had a feeling something really good was going to happen today, and fireworks have been going off all the whole time between us. I hope it translates well on tape. Is it looking good over there?
Looks great.
All right, good. If it doesn't, I'll come back and get you. All right, so you got more questions, and we got 5 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I think, and Dan, unless you have anything.
Well, I just want to say thank you it's been such a joy to meet you and to hang out.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. It's been unreal to see and feel your enthusiasm for all things guitar. It's like meeting a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
You know, it
We
really
are
is. It's
kindred
wonderful.
spirits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's easy. You guys are gear sluts and I'm a gear slut. And you have a love for this stuff.
Yeah.
What I have a real care for is no pedals. And that's a different experience to me. If you turn a Hendrix, if you turn this amp all the way up and there's no buffers, it'll turns into a synthesizer. It has 2 notes coming out of it.
Right.
It's fun. It's real.
Well, that's obviously how we're going to finish. I would like to play my DGT to finish the video doing that. So.
Thing's making all kinds of notes.
The Transformers doing the thing. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Let me have a go. I want to have a go. I want to have a go.
At the end, I got you to turn all the pedals on.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned how to play. I learned how to play without a pedal.
Yeah, we did too.
What a sound.
Sounds killer. Sounds really killer.
For a 20-watt amp?
Yeah, yeah.
At that price point, that's less than $1,000 quid.